Page 26, El Relicario. Whatever it is. I don't speak Spanish. I've been trying to learn Spanish for the last couple of years. I still can't do it. Whatever that is, that's what it is. It's from a Spanish composer. It makes sense, I guess. 3/4 time, no sharps or flats in the key signature, but we have some accidentals. Actually, what it's doing is it's going into the key of G major for page 27, but rather than putting the signature, putting a sharp in the key signature, they're just using F sharps throughout, and an occasional G sharp. We'll explain that later. But that's really what we're doing. We're in the key of G major on page 27, and G major has one sharp, an F sharp, and that's really why you're seeing all these F sharps in here. They can do that. Well, it's okay. Let's check things out with notes and rhythms first, one hand at a time. In the right hand, you're starting here. And we have 3/8 notes on a pickup measure because it's an incomplete measure. Every measure's got to have 3 counts in it. Well, 3/8 notes is only 1.5 counts in 3/4 time. So there has to be another measure somewhere with 1.5 counts in it, or the equivalent of 3/8 notes. If you look at the bottom of page 27, the last measure, an 1/8 note and 2/8 rest is the same as 3/8 notes as far as counting goes. So that's it. So the first 1.5 beats are at the bottom of page 27. So we come in on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So we're starting here, and it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And then scrunch up, second finger on the F. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Scrunch up again, second finger again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, and you bring the thumb down. And then you'll lift up at the end of in the last measure, the second line, there's an 1/8 rest. During that, you just lift up and come down, do it all again. Now at the last line on page 26, you're here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and. You come down. Then the last measure, during the rest, you come up. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. Now we do the same thing we just did on page 26, except now we're in G major and we're up here. Same fingering. 2 here. You just have the F sharps. Remember, accidental in a measure is good for that point on for the rest of the measure. So in the second line, first measure, both of those F's are sharped. You come down. Last 2 measures, you're here. You just reach up to the octave to there. Left hand just has the chords. You have the 5/7 chord. Normally on the 5/7 chord for C major, 5/7 chord is here, but actually the chord has 4 notes in it. We just generally don't use all 4 notes. We usually leave that one out. But we can leave that one out and use this, and sometimes they do. Well, they're doing it here. It's still a 5/7 chord in C major. It's a G7 chord, right? 1, 2, 3. Remember, a dotted half note is the same as 3/4 notes. It doesn't matter what the time signature is. It's always the same as 3/4 notes. So whatever a quarter note gets, this gets 3 of those. Then 1 chord. Third line down, same chords, slightly but broken. Here, 1 and 2 and 3. And C sharp. Rest, rest, rest. I came down here because we were here. Now come down here. Page 27, you're up here. And G major, now this is a 5/7 chord in G major. It's a D7 chord. We could have done that one, because that's one also. Remember, it has 4 notes in it, but we're not using that one here. That's fine. Don't have to. And then on the third line, you got the broken chords again. And then a G sharp. Put the hands together. And I'm connecting everything right now. last measure. Get off of that. So these eighth notes are by themselves. Now you take it at your speed, but go ahead and put the hands together and then go back through and get rid of the hesitations. The beat has to be a steady beat all the way through, no exceptions. Then we can add the staccatos and legatos and all that wonderful stuff. So I'm going to lift up. It's like taking a breath. And when you lift up, you can move then. You don't have to scrunch up. Lift up. Left hand, connect these as best you can. Staccatos, hinging at the wrist, short staccatos. The left hand on these eighth notes in the third line, connect them all. Just pretend there's a big old curved line over the whole thing there. Lift up in the right hand. Lift up here, but not here. Lift up. Staccato on the left. That's basically the articulation. I went a little fast. You take it at your speed. Just the idea is sometimes you're lifting up at different times in the hands, and it's important that you be able to do that. Then dynamics, moderately loud, that's for the right hand, that's the melody. Whatever you think moderately loud is, mezzo forte, sort of loud, medium loud, loud, yeah. It's not loud, it's just sort of loud. The left hand, keep it in the background. It gets to be a challenge then when you get down to the third line. In the left hand, the tendency is in piano, when you have a lot going on in a hand like this, eighth notes, you'll tend to play them out. You don't mean to, you're not thinking about it, but they'll get loud. It just happens. So make sure that you're conscious of this left hand needs to be soft or very soft. So keep this left hand soft. Now you don't have to stay exactly medium loud in the right hand because there's no other dynamic given but medium loud. You're in that area. Once you get to know the piece and you're getting into the music, you're past the mechanics. You don't have to worry about fingering and rhythm and all that. You're really getting into it. You may want to get a little louder and softer. For instance, at the bottom of page 26, when I'm coming down, maybe I want to come down there. I'm coming off of a phrase, and you typically come down at the end of a phrase. So just make sure I hear that all the time I'm doing that. So feel these, you might want to get a little louder and softer in places. That's interpretation and you need to feel it really to do it. I could put in crescendos and decrescendos or diminuendos in the music and tell you this is how, because that's interpretation. But just feel the music and see what you can do with it. Now speed. Allegro is fast. It's got to be accurate. It's got to be your fast, not my fast. What do you feel fast is here? And that's the feel of the piece. Because when you get to the eighth notes, what are those? Yeah, whatever you can play accurately, that can be your fast. Don't go faster than that. It's got to be controlled. It's got to be even. like to play it with you very slowly to check the notes and the rhythms. So I'm going to give us a full 3 counts because there's 3 beats in a measure, and then another 1.5 counts on top of that. It's because it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, go. Something like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Three.